Hello and welcome to Restore 2022. We're in the book of Romans chapter 4. Paul continues to expand here what he means by justification by faith. He also wants the Jewish Christians to grasp that his gospel of justification by faith is not a new thing, is not something that has just been invented, because it has been proclaimed beforehand in the Old Testament. He has already mentioned in 3 different places so far about how the law and the prophets relate to it. But now it's time to grapple with some big figures of the Old Testament. Father Abraham and David. Paul says Abraham considered his own body, which was as good as dead, and the deadness of Sarah's womb. Verse 19. Better he faced the fact that he and Sarah were both infertile. But on the other hand, Abraham reflected on the promises of God, on the character of God, who was a creator God who had made them, but also on this character that not only a creator, but he's a God who gives life to the dead and calls all things that are not as they were. So Abraham's mind has dealt with his promises, and the issues have really minimized because he was fully persuaded that God had the power to do whatever he's promised. He's trustworthy. I think it's important that we grasp here that there is a spiritual heritage that the Jewish believers participate, but as well as the Gentile Christians, because they partake and fulfill the promises that were made to Abraham as they place their faith for salvation in Jesus. I said earlier on about the Jews, it was important for them to recognize that both Abraham and David show that justification by faith is God's one and only way of salvation. Okay, and this is valid for the Old Testament as well as the New Testament now that they are part of the New Testament. So it applies to both Jews and Gentiles. And what Paul is trying to address here is that there is a path of unbelief that is very, very dangerous. And it makes sense for the believers in Rome to embrace the promises, build on the confidence of God's faithfulness and power, especially as they are a post-resurrection community of faith. The same for us. This does not mean that we go for every promise we find and take them out of context and apply to us, but we truly make sure that for the promises that are ours, that we are counting God for his promises. Embrace them in hope, even against all human hope, as verse 18 suggests that Abraham did. And by doing so, we prove, we participate, we partake in our heritage that we have got through our father, spiritual father, Abraham.